All right, good afternoon. It's loud. All right, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for braving the heat to be here. I just saw something, I think Texas City is telling everybody they have to be indoors because it's so hot right at this particular point in time. Well, listen, appreciate you all coming out. This is our annual town hall. We started off the college doing these. This is just something that we do mainly just to hear from the community, just to make sure that we're doing the things that you feel like we need to do. We do have updates to share, but I will tell you that that's kind of secondary. So feel free to jump in at any point in time with any questions, because it's really about just hearing from you. And so we want to try to keep these going because you all were so vital whenever we got the college started. So in Lone Star College news, before we get into it, as you know, we're going through a lot of changes presently. We have our chancellor. He, on July 1st, will be his 40th year in this system. And he said enough. So he's retired, and I think he deserves it. And so he's getting ready to retire at the end of July. We just interviewed, we sent forth some finalists to the Board of Trustees. They're determining who they're going to interview. We're hoping to have somebody in place in August. So you see a lot of changes. We have 2 presidencies open. One is at Montgomery, one is at UP. And also those positions are coming up. I think Sheldon Moss, the VP over here, just told me that after this is all over with, I'm going to be the senior or the second longest tenured president in the system. So that's kind of, I'm feeling old at this particular point. I don't know what that means. But we have a lot of little things like that that's just going on right now with college. But overall, everything is very good. Everything's very good. So I'm going to go through just a few slides. I won't spend too much time on this.
Welcome to Lone Star College, Houston North, where our goal is to provide educational opportunities and support to our students and our community that extends far beyond the classroom. Many of our students are just starting, continuing, or relaunching their educational journey, and they do not have to figure it out alone. Whether they are pursuing an associate degree to transfer to a four-year university or joining one of our phenomenal workforce programs, we have the classes they need to meet those goals. We recognize our students have a lot on their plate, which is why we offer wraparound services and 8-week classes. That gives them the attention they deserve and the study time they need while still balancing outside responsibilities. We have several resources available at each of our 4 locations, such as free tutoring, mental health professionals, food assistance, and mentors to support our students inside and outside the classroom. At the Lone Star College Houston North Panther, our students can build meaningful and professional relationships with our professors, advisors, and classmates. There is so much more to being a Panther than just sitting in a classroom. They join an academic family that has their back from start to finish. We understand that our students have many reasons to take classes, but for LSC-Houston North, our why is always our students and community. We are dedicated to providing education, inspiration, and motivation to help our students achieve their goals. And we couldn't do it without the help of our valued community partners. Our students' why is family and friends, and our why is you.
All right, that's a quick video. We like to do this because those of you who know the college, we are a little different. We're structured a little differently, and that's purposely done. We are structured for the community that we serve. And so we like to always kind of bring that out because so that way you'll know when you step in, you're stepping into kind of a unique situation. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about our students, tell you a little bit about we watch the community data quite a bit, how the community is changing. Talk to you about some planning initiatives, some things that are coming up that we're really excited about. And then we're going to go to just straight questions. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our students. We finished this year with about 3,000 students, and I can tell you we're the most diverse college in the system. If you see, about 80% of our students are Black or brown. Our Hispanic population is our largest population. Our Black population, we have the largest percentage of the Black population of any of our systems. So our students are very diverse. But in addition to that, a few other fun facts about our students. Most of them work. About 80% of our students work. We have have kind of like older population, people have been getting younger. But like, for instance, our workforce, about the average age of them about 31 years old. We have a large part-time population. The largest population are females. And also, I can tell you, we're almost 2 to 1 when it comes to females to males. And that's not uncommon. That's something you see in higher ed. I tell I have 2 daughters at home, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, you're not going to have much to pick from, if we don't start getting this going. But we hit about we just hit 3,000 students. Very proud of where we're going. So we dropped a little bit during the pandemic, but we're one of the only community colleges that can have continued to grow. So just kind of over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, community college dropped about 20% in the area. And so, the fact that we've been able to grow has been we've been pleased with that particular point in time. We did lose some students across the way. We lost a significant portion of Hispanic female students for a little while in the pandemic and Black male students, but we're starting to see them come back. And so the pandemic did not, as you can imagine, impact everybody evenly. Now, a little bit about I want to tell you about our graduates. So you can see here, I know it's kind of tough to see, we're only 4 years in. So this is our 3rd year data for graduates. We had about 117 the first year, we had 242 the next. This past graduation, where was Dean Dudley? Where are we estimating this year?
This year, hoping to surpass 300.
Hoping to surpass 300. So we're graduating more and more students every year, which is something that we want to be able to do. And the thing that I guess I'm the most proud of, if you look here, the percentage that you have of Hispanic and Black and multiple students equals what our overall population is. So what that means is that we're not leaving anybody behind. So basically, if we have a population of 56% Hispanics, we want 56% of our graduates to be Hispanic. 24% Black, we want 24% of our graduates. When that doesn't happen, then we know that we're losing a group of students. And so we're really fortunate that that's not the case right now. And really pleased with our progress here. The thing I think I'm the most proud of is that our students, as I told you, they're the most diverse. We have the highest amount on financial aid, but our students have the highest completion rates in most of our college system. And you can kind of see how this compares. See, Lone Star College's average, you see LSC-Houston North. A couple of other points, Vice President back here, he's a real good data guy. I can tell you that we, only about 3% of our students, well, just under 4% of our students drop a course. So the truth of the matter, when students start with us, they finish. So we're very pleased with that standpoint of it. And it's interesting, whenever, you have these type of numbers, and we've had it year after year since we started, sometimes you get things like we call the students, or whatever the case may be, but this is what I will tell you. We just had a survey, we just saw it, and our students can claim, at least in this survey, that they spend on average 3 to 4 hours a day studying, right? So what that shows you is that a couple of things. One, that these students have the work ethic, right? So they're working hard. We're showing that if you can structure things all right, they can do the work, right? All we need to do is be able to remove the barriers that make it an even playing field. And when we're able to do that, these students can do extremely well. And that's the narrative that we've been trying to prove, and they've been proving it very well. So very happy with what we're seeing with our students. And we lead in every category. The biggest gap that we have been able to close has been with our Black students. We were, I can think when Dr. Head started in 2014, the Black student success was about 58%. So what that means is that we were losing 1 out of every 2 Black students. And as you see, we're at 75% of that population. So you can see how much it has jumped. So we really done a lot of good work here in the system to be able to close the gaps. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we're seeing. So every 10 years that there's a census, at that point in time, we redraw our districts. We have 9 single member districts. Our communities are changing, as you can imagine. So to tell you a little bit about it, Fairbanks location, which is just further west of here, probably changed the most. So what you see here, that this is a population that, if you see how the percentages have kind of shifted, what has happened is that a lot of people have moved west. A lot of people have moved out to the south to kind of move into this particular direction. So while you may see like there's a larger percentage, it looks as if maybe the black population have left the area, but that's not what happened. What actually happened, a larger white population moved into the area. And so that's something that we're starting to see here. I can tell you in this region, this district, over 80,000, 79,000 people moved there from 2010 to 2020. So you can see it's a lot of people that's going at that particular point. We haven't been able to make much progress in attainment. What you see by attainment, we have a goal in Texas that 60% of all adults over 25 will have some type of college degree. So you can see we have a pretty good depth here. We're less than 30% in this area. This is probably one of our largest percentages. Fallbrook area, where we're also included, we increased in educational attainment quite a bit. You had a pretty big increase in median household income, and you probably have seen that in home values and everything of that nature. So there's some work there to be done. Greenspoint's a lot of concern. So if you look here, you're talking about only about 10% of this population have any type of college degree. And to make it even worse, about 45% of this population do not even have a high school diploma. So we have a lot of work to do here. And if you look at the median income, it's very low. This is what's scary about being around 27 to 34,000. In Texas, in the Houston area, home prices are around 350,000 now. So that's about 327,000 for average. What that means is that if you're going to be able to afford a home, you're going to be able to make somewhere around 55,000 a year. So how does this play out? In that Greenspoint area, they just added their 75th apartment complex. Nothing wrong with it, but the point is, it's just that what happens is that you get a larger concentration of that, of people not having home ownership whenever you get to that point. So you can tell what the work there has to be. First, it's not even just getting a college degree or some type of workforce. We got to get people to graduate from high school, right? So it's work that we have to do there. Victory is an interesting standpoint of it. The population is shifting. It's becoming a much more Hispanic population. We're not making the progress we need with educational attainment. And that's something that we're going to talk to you a little bit about, but we need to be able to kind of move in this area. However, people are moving in. So since 2010, about 22,000 or so people have moved into the area, right? And so you're seeing this shift, a younger population that you see moving in. But once again, we got to be able to hit the attainment rate up. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we're doing. One of the things is that we're in a closer partnership now with our high schools. Dr. Mayer is the Vice President of Instruction. Michael Crouch, if you could wave your hand, he is over our dual manager of dual credit. They've done a lot of work to start connecting with high schools earlier because we need to get the relationships earlier. So I want to give you some good examples of some of the work that they're doing. So what do we know every year where we have a teacher shortage? And so we know that that's kind of a big deal. In this area, the turnover is about 7,000 teachers a year. And so luckily, they have been working on a project to be able to train students while they're in high school. John, I don't know if you want to say anything about that, and you may be able to describe a little bit better than I can, for the Teachers Academy.
So it's a 2-year program in which students will graduate with their high school diploma as well as their Associate of Arts in Teaching. And so it puts them along the pipeline to be able to get all their bachelor's degree and their teaching certificate within 2 years after graduating from high school. And then that pipeline to get them back into the workforce.
So the value in them doing it while it's high school is a much reduced rate, right? So they save a lot of money to be able to do it. And you want to be able to train teachers from the community because then they will teach in the community, right? And so that's one of the goals that we've been able to do. So we're very proud of this partnership. It kicked off. You can see all the students that are in the initial cohort, so we think that this is going to be a really big deal there. This is also another thing that Mr. Crouch and Michael are doing. I don't know if you all want to mention this with the Accelerated Academy.
So this is truly Manager Crouch's brainchild, but I'll speak on his behalf. So the Accelerated College Academy is to work with our Alden High School partners to ensure that students are core complete. And becoming core complete is important because you need those 42 hours to transfer over to a four-year institution. So it's a clear transfer over to a four-year institution.
So basically, they get the basics while they're in high school. And so it's a way to be able to get students started very early on. And then, as I told you, in the Greenspoint area, we have an issue with students graduating from high school. We got a lot of people who are over 25 without a degree. So we're starting a dropout recovery in high school in our Greenspoint location. So people who do not have any kind of diploma will be able to come in here and they'll be able to apply and they'll be able to go there, get dual credit, and also we're thinking that this is going to be able to help that issue we have there with only so few people having a high school diploma. And then we're bringing in a number of workforce initiatives. So we're bringing in electrical technologies here. We're bringing in a number of CE programs over our Fairbanks area, so certified nursing assistants. You remember the contact tracers that happened right after COVID? We're bringing in, now it's going to be called a community health worker program. So we're excited about that. And then the Sunnyside project dealing with solar farms. We have a grant, and they're going to train out of here and then go in and install solar panels. So those are some workforce initiatives that we're going to be able to do to give people quick credentials and certificates to try to start getting people in. We're very excited about the Bethune Empowerment Center that's right down the street. The mayor described this as going to be kind of an educational corridor with Carver there, Victory here, the Bethune Empowerment Center. We're going to lease about 5,000 square feet, and we're going to build out these workforce labs. The labs are going to be able, so the students will be able to go in here and train to be able to build the charging stations that will, for electric vehicles. And this will be the first program in the state of Texas as part of the community college program. As you know, when President Biden passed the infrastructure bill, about $400 million of that came to Texas Department of Transportation. The idea is that every 50 miles there will be a charging station, right? Because the biggest thing that's keeping people from buying electric vehicles, right, is the people who have range anxiety. People are nervous about, hey, this is gonna, and then what happens if there's not a charging station nearby? So there's a lot of people who initially was getting, but he said they want to have a whole area, a budget committee is going to be big. Nothing but charging stations, but we want to be on the front end of providing the training for that. So we're working in this, we've gotten some funding from CenterPoint Energy, who is having us, excuse me, when they're up there on some of the equipment. It's going to take them also to kind of help have the electrical requirements for it. It takes a lot of power to be able to build these initiatives out. And so we're excited about this, and if all goes well, this lab will be completed in December with the idea that we can start looking in January to begin offering the program, the training. And we're offering it, though, in a very safe manner, in the sense that we don't know. We think that there's going to be a lot of jobs out there, but just in case they don't, the students are going to have an electrical background where they can be electricians to be able to kind of move into this. So very excited about this particular point in time. And then lastly, we have this expansion. I keep saying that this is about to start. Over here, we're going to have We're gonna build out another 20,000 square feet. It's going to add on a biology room, a fitness room, several classrooms. What this is gonna enable us to do is for students to complete their entire associate's degree here. And they won't have to go anywhere else to be able to do it. The main way that's gonna happen is because we're gonna have science lab, which often, right now, students cannot do. So we're very excited about being able to break ground on this. This will be about a 13-month build out. I'm a little nervous about the longer we wait to be able to get it started because everything's more expensive now. Wood's more expensive, steel's more expensive, and every day that we wait, chances are we're going to be out of budget. But it's a good program, and so it's a good initiative. I think it's going to add a lot. This is a place that between 9 and 12, every classroom is filled. So it's going to be able to add a lot to this particular community in this area, and we can kind of build it out. So those are a few planned initiatives. So I want to talk to you about a few highlights just from the year. Not a lot, and then we're going to get into questions. We're very excited. So we're Panthers. That is our mascot. Now, the way we came up with the mascot is that we did a survey. We asked students to come up with a name. Well, at the time, back in 2019, 2018, Black Panther had just came out. So we think that that's the reason why students chose Panther. So whenever Wakanda Forever was coming out, we thought, well, hey, what a better way to honor them than to rent out a theater and to have students come out to it. So it was a fun night. We all had our T-shirts on. We were all walking around with our arms crossed. We had a really good night that night, and it was a good way to kick off fall registration. Really excited about this concept. Transportation continues to be a big issue with our students. And so we have a bus line here from Bethune, a Fallbrook location. It's right outside the city limits we go. So Metro's piloting a project right now in which we have a shuttle that's tying into some of the lines. This gentleman here, Estavius, is the reason why we have this. So Estavius was our Student Government Association president, and he came in to let us know that he had to walk 22 minutes, I remember it very well, to be able to walk the veteran memorials to be able to get there. So special thanks to him, his work and advocacy. And I also want to thank Metro because they didn't have to listen. And they did this. And so now, thanks to Estavius, we have a shuttle program out there. And we hope that works out well because I would also love to see us have a shuttle over to Fairbanks from here. Down West New York, but we got to make sure that this one works well in the meantime. We had our commencement, and I always like to mention commencement. There's a few things that are really valuable on this one. As Dean Dudley said, we're going to have over 300 students, so we're steadily increasing with our graduates. But we also have the first. So Davis High School in Albany, for the first time, had students graduating with an associate's degree in a high school diploma. And so you see the principal there, he's smiling, he was happy. I think they call him the Fab Five. That's what they're calling. They had 5 graduates. So that was a very exciting initiative. And if you see over there on the, I guess it's your left, those are all of the Victory Early College High School graduates. So look at, that's how many students from this community that are graduating with an associate's degree and a high school diploma. That's something we're very proud of. So that's always a really highlight of the commencement. But those are not the only highlights of the commencement. I think we had a grandmother. She doesn't mind me saying her age. We had a 55-year-old grandmother graduate. She walked across the stage. She told me where her grandchildren were sitting, and had a really good time. But I've really been pleased with our commencement ceremonies. This was probably our best yet. We had it at Fallbrook Church this time around. The good news is that we're growing so much, and now we're going to have to find another place to be able to have it next year. And that's good to see because we're switching in community colleges, but we started this way. We don't just want students to come to us, we want them to finish. And also, we're really glad to be able to see this is going to be the first year in which we the state's going to register our graduation rate. And we have some pretty lofty goals there, so we're looking forward to seeing how that's going to turn out. And we had a lot of community engagement here this week. A couple of things, if you see over here this large picture, we had our international festival. This is the first time in, I want to say 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years that we've had this over at our Fairbanks. I forget how many different countries were represented, but it was several in there. We have a pretty large ESOL program in this place, so we're very pleased with this. Just a lot of community impact. We have been doing a community food drive every month through a partnership with Be Well. We've been really pleased with that. That same partnership, we have a nutrition class in which we're, the idea is to show how to cook healthy meals using air fryers. And it's for our Academy of Lifelong Learner seniors in the community. And so that class has been going well. The only problem is that when you have a lot of air fryers working at one time, this is, I call him Deacon, this is the dean here. He'll call and say, hey, you know what, we blew out the fuse again. And he lets me hear it, but it's been a really good thing, and we have a lot of, so it's for seniors, everyone is 50 and older, and what I love about it is that they let me know afterwards what else we do here at Lone Star. And so it's been a very good thing going. We have our impact project, and that's Ashley Turner's brainchild. We have been working, as you know, there's a lot of nonprofits in the area. They have a lot of, they have the idea of the service, right? They have the content, but maybe some of the business acumen, you know, whatever the case may be, they, you know, some of the board trends, some of the financial awareness, some of the laws and regulations. And so Ashley had a good idea about, hey, let's put something on and put together a project. And she's back here. And so we ran this has been 2 years, right, that we ran the program. Been really successful. The first year we had someone funded. Out of it, we bring in 5 organizations. The second year, someone was funded with it. And so we've been really pleased with this. And these are all minority nonprofits. And so we're planning to do it again. And we're going to keep doing it. And Ms. Turner has helped us out with that. It's a free program. At the end of it, we give them $1,000 to the nonprofit organization. And it's something that we're going to continue to do kind of moving forward. So really, really pleased with that. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about, I always kind of communicate. Part of the reason why our students are successful is that we spend a lot of time trying to figure out what is it that keeps you from being able to learn. If students are hungry, they can't learn, right? And if students have other needs, they can't learn. If they're dealing with mental health issues, they can't learn. And so we do a lot with our wraparound services, with our pantries and different things of that nature. And you can see here, we have a food pantry, we call it a care center, in every location. We've had 4,300 visits to that location, 900 students. We got 3,000 students, over 900 visit our pantry, and they visit multiple times, right? So a third of our students, you know, are getting that type of thing. So we do that type of, we have a lot of textbook requests because even though our prices are low, tuition, the truth of the matter is that textbooks often cost more than the actual one. Our vice president right now is working on an initiative to do a free textbook type thing on certain courses, and we think that's going to help out a lot. It's nothing for anatomy and physiology that to be $250, $300. John is going up. And also, you know, that's costly. That's costly. Of course, it's $300. Then you have to go pay another $300 for a book. That becomes very expensive. So we're really dealing with that type of. We're dealing with a lot of homelessness or housing insecurity more than what we have seen before. And I can tell you, if we know of 41 cases, the chances are then that means there's 100 cases. We just don't know about all of them. So we're trying to hone in on that and build a network. We used to have a very good social worker with us, and she was very good. She had a network with departments, things of that nature. we've had some turnover there, so we don't have that same type of network. And Brandy Ford back here leads a lot of these efforts with that. So now we're at the point of having to rebuild these type of networks. It was an apartment complex that reached out to us with the notion of us trying to be able to give reduced rent to students. Something we do, but what I would tell you with that, we only give emergency funding one time for students. We give up to $500 one time, and that's it. We don't do anything, and that's just kind of an internal thing that we have going on. So that doesn't go very far, you can imagine. So that's something we're going to have to wrap our heads around, kind of moving forward, because it's just going to become more and more of an issue. And the truth of the matter, if interest rates continue to go up, then what that's going to happen, housing goes up. And when housing goes up, what happens, it increases demand for apartments. And when you increase the demand for the apartments, what happens, the prices go up. And when that happens, it's going to price students out. So we gotta be able to watch that type of thing. But what I will tell you, I've been very pleased with the standpoint of it, that we've been able to address a lot of these needs as they come up. But we are having to become creative in how we do so. Because we can't use operational funds for any of this. All of this is through fundraising. So we've been really pleased so far, but it's one of those things that we got to be able to go there. So with that said, that kind of wraps up a few of the highlights. Now we just want to spend a few minutes. And what we really are here for is just be able to hear from you and any questions, thoughts, comments, or anything else that you would like to see from Lone Star or with specifically our college.
I noticed a question online through our Facebook Live. What can we as community members do to support the college?
So I think it's a lot of things. One of which, and mind you, the go-to is always donations. That's important. And if you got money to give it. But what I will tell you is that we can use the networks. So the example that I would give, when I go back to this, you don't necessarily have to give, of a housing network that you could have connectors to. So that type of thing is very important. We have, if you can connect us, we were spending, Liz, how much a month on our pantries?
Anywhere between $5,000 to $8,000.
$5,000 and $8,000 a month on pantries, So if you have a connection to an HEB and you can help or a Kroger, let us know, and that type of thing helps a lot. So that helps. And then I think the other standpoint of it is just helping the students get jobs. We have some really good workforce programs here. When we first started the college, about 3% of our total enrollment was workforce. Now we're at 14% of our total enrollment, and it's growing quite a bit. But when these students leave, it's a competitive world now. So if you can help our students who go through mechanical design, get a job, go through our HVAC program, get a job, we can greatly, greatly appreciate that.
I got a question.
Sure.
In regards to the housing requests, how long or what type of requests do you get? Are these for the semester? Are they for years? What are we looking at?
So most are pretty unique. I will tell you when we get the most are couch surfing, from what I will be able to see. And maybe you may be able to speak a little bit better than this, Liz, because I know you deal directly with.
So we have a variety of requests when housing comes in. We have some that are about to be displaced, so they're asking for, to meet the end of their funds for their rent. We have many that are couch surfing, we're looking for a more permanent option, or requests that they just need to get out of their home for a reason or another. So it's a bit of a variety of what we get, but majority of them are more long-term. They're in a situation currently, and they need a long-term solution. Is majority of our requests at the moment.
In cases like that, a lot of times it's a package of services we got to provide with that particular case. But the thing that concerns me is that we have gotten to, for a brief period, we were able to react right quickly. You know, now we're back in this period where we need people to do these superhuman favors. We got to call Ms. Turner and say, hey, can you tap into your network? And we need something that's turnkey, you know, because if a student doesn't have a place to stay, we can't wait till tomorrow. You know what I mean? And so that's just the thing that we're kind of worried about with that standpoint of it. And
We have some more questions.
okay. And hello, Facebook Live people.
You do a great job assisting the students. What do you think is the greatest challenge that the students face and what support is needed? Maybe cover that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it's just a variety of things that I think students face. You know, our students, one thing Dean Johnson is working on this, but one thing I would tell you is that our career services is something we're going to have to get up. People, they have jobs and they work, but, you know, we have a lot of students, I think, working too many hours. Randy, when you did your survey of students that are working, what was the percentage of students that were working full-time? You remember that? About 75% of these students were working full-time.
And many of those had children or other dependents at home.
So how do you work full-time? You study 3 to 4 hours a day, right? And you're a parent, you know, and that's tough, right? So, I mean, some of this is just that we realize people have to work and have to do things. So this is one of the things that we need to be able to do. We probably need a few more of a concentrated effort as a college on how we did help parents, different things of that nature. And John, I know I keep going back to you, but you're doing some really good work. You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing with kind of high flex classes to try to help a lot of our parents?
So one of our initiatives is to offer courses that are under what we call a high flex model. High flex meaning hybrid and flexible, a combination of those two terms. And what that will allow is there will be an in-class session, kind of like what we're experiencing right now, and then also a live virtual session like on Facebook Live. And this will prevent students who want to have that instructor interaction from having to drive to campus, right? And just providing that flexibility that often students who work and or have children and or other dependents in their lives, the flexibility that they need.
So I think that those are things, and then I'm going to tell you the other part of it. And when we first started college, we built in from 12 to 1 what we call power hours. So the whole idea is that we wouldn't have classes, but we would have this kind of time period where, you know, you hear this quite a bit. I don't know, I think you heard it Saturday when the mayor said, students have to see what it is they want to be, right? And so being able to get professionals in during that time period to be able to see that helps tremendously. When students are working as hard as our students, they need some motivation, and that helps out quite a bit with that particular type of thing. So we got a variety of things. I would just tell you that if you can help students with barriers outside the classroom, then that will help us a lot. It could be if you, for instance, we have clothing closets. It's only mainly for professional dress, but if you could help our students to make sure that when they go to an interview, they have the right clothes to be able to do it, that helps a lot. When Christmas comes around, if you can donate toys, so that way, because we do a toy drive every year, and we do the toy drive because students, guess what? They have to choose between buying toys for their kids or paying tuition for the spring, right? That's a hard choice, you know. So we, every year, at least since, if I remember correctly, you can correct me, we've had more and more students sign up for that type of thing. So helping students with things outside of class is a really big thing.
So I have one quick question. And this is about the expansion for the Bethune Cookman Center. I'm curious, can you share just a little bit about how the courses might be offered there? Where there be particular course options?
So what I would tell you is that those courses will be all workforce lab courses. So They're going to be what I would call more of your hands-on type of courses. So we do have a classroom that we're building into it for some of it. If you ever go down and you see our welding lab, you'll see our HVAC lab. You know, there's a part in which it is a classroom instruction, but most of it's work. So it's a classroom in the front, and in the back is going to be the actual charging stations for them to work on. So most of that work is going to be there. All the other services, we want them to come out and see this gentleman over here, Deacon, Reverend Dean Johnson. We call him Deacon, Doctor, Dean, so we triple D. And so we want them, so all the services are going to be really through here. But that program, that area is just going to be for that particular program. And most of the value of that is that we can build it to suits. You know, you talk about, we were just sharing, you know, that's a 110-volt outlet, right? Your air conditioner is 220 volt. We need 480 volt outlets, right? That's a lot of power. That's a lot of power. And so we're, in fact, my business manager just asked me the other day if we're going to have to pay the utility costs, or if Bethune, you know, if they're going to pay for it just because of how much power is going to be for that. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing out there, you know. Any other questions that we have? Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wright, for all of the information that you shared here this evening. In addition to our enrollment increase goals and things that we have coming up for the fall, do you have any plans to expand any programs coming into next year, maybe fall of 24?
Yeah.
Have you thought that far in advance?
I think we have. We do. He's, you got to know Cliff. So we do. I'm gonna tell you, in particularly here, the biggest jump is going to be our electrical technology. So we're going to train people to be able to get on the path to be a journeyman, right? So it's going to be an electrical program. I wanted that program for a while. I'm glad that we're going to be able to get it. We actually are just bringing the program to lead people into the electric vehicle project, but it's an opportunity, you know. So we imagine there's going to be a lot of people that's going to take that. That starts actually in August, doesn't it? It starts in August, so that's going to be kind of the biggest expansion that we're probably going to see this time around. Those workforce programs are super expensive, so we can't add a lot, but we are kind of expanding that program, and the rest of it is just more initiative-based things that we're doing, you know. So, anything else? Any other questions? All right. Well, listen. If there's nothing else, I want to thank you all for all of your support. I want to ask you that you just keep supporting us. We're heading in a really good direction. Our students are doing well. We want you to be proud of the place. We want you to feel like a sense of ownership with it. I'm hoping that the next time we do this, we'll be able to tour the new facility that's going to be out there. But we've made a lot of progress in a short period of time, despite the fact that, let's face it, 2 of the 4 years we've been open, it was during COVID. But we're making a lot of progress. We're hoping that we will become one of the top colleges in the state. With community support. So thank you for all that you do. And now please just enjoy food. All right? All right, take care. And if you have any questions about our workforce programs, this is what we offer. I'm